to help make it a better climate for everyone. So
Well, when I talk about
on the other,
when I talk about the climate, what I'm talking about, and probably I used the wrong word. What I'm talking about is a sort of one-stop shopping for folks in the diaspora who would like to go home and do X or Y. The process is very it's very jumbled, it's very cumbersome, you know.
Yes.
And we would have to fix that, you know, make it easier for people to do business, to get business started. It'll probably start by, you know, introducing sort of more business-friendly legislation. And I'm not saying that to say just give businesses a free hand. You have to have certain guardrails in place. But it's just, yeah, it's too cumbersome to get anything started. So that's something that they would have.
You send it in for me?
They would have to address in the I hopefully in the second year, you know.
Well, I hope so. With all of us input and suggestions and recommendations to the government, hopefully some of it will be accepted, and we can have a better business climate, better communications with the Grenadians in the diaspora who shows interest and who wants to help. We hopefully that with our input, we can make a difference. You, myself, and all the others in the diaspora who have good intention, that some of our opinions will be accepted and put into place. Because from experience that I have during the PRG time, is that when you as a Grenadian national going back home to work or help the government out, sometimes you're not readily accepted. They look at you as a Grenadian expatriate coming back as a foreigner.
During the PRG time?
You know, yeah. So
yeah, I don't remember
that. So hopefully, Brother Delbert, that the experiences that you, others, and myself have accomplished out here, going back home, because we are looking at it as, let's say, as the astronaut up in the space out there looking down at the globe. And they would accept from a different level our experience and put it into place.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges, because I mean, I'm in Grenada fairly often. I just came from a month-long, I wouldn't call it a vacation, sort of fact-finding, and I spent the Trump administration years in Grenada because I did not feel that I could live under Trump, you know.
Right, yeah.
So we have some real problems. Some of it is embedded in the way we think. Some of it is some destructive cultural norms. And one of the things that I find particularly disturbing about us is that we tend to celebrate mediocrity. And then if you're trying to do something in Grenada, and for one reason or the other that you fail, people seem to be happy about it, and I don't understand that. Well, and I think that comes from the failure of our leaders, and I'm using the word leaders in quotes because I think that has been absent in the Grenadian construct for a while now. So I more like to call them office holders or managers. They have not spoken to our people about real dreams and aspiration, and how, as a people, we unite and find areas of cooperation to build the society. We have not had a Grenadian leader speaking out on that for almost 4 decades now.
All right, so
including this one.
Well, you know, we are on a transformational process, and
I don't know what that means.
Well, you know, a transformation is a lot of things. You took the Reliance bus at one point and you go to St. Paul's and it was a boat bus. And after that, you had the Volkswagen bus came in. So that was a transformation from Boat to Volkswagen. Then Toyota came in with the highest, and
But that was not a transformation. That was a change.
well, transformation,
It's not the same thing.
or basically the same idea. It's about the same idea, my comrade. So
But how did us moving from wooden buses to those mobile ovens that we have now?
transformation basically is it's a mindset. It's a mindset where you have a public servant that going to work, get the salary, and that's all they care about. They don't care about helping in the way that they should. So you have to change the mindset of people in order to help do a transformation. Once you can do that, you are moving forward. But if people remain with the mindset, as let's say, for example, I know I don't want to talk about the past government that was there. You are paying people to do work, and they go out there, and they go out there at 6 in the morning, 9 o'clock, they're back home, and they get paid for a whole day.
Okay.
Right? So now now I'm saying to you as an employer, I'm paying you for basically 8 hours with lunch break and other breaks. I expect you to be out there, but some of them are not accepting that because that's what they had gotten used to.
Okay.
So they rebel. So you have to transform the mindset that as an employer, you and I know to in the diaspora, some places still use a card where you clock in. Other places use a supervisor, goes through the aisles to make sure the employees are there and they take a record of you being on the job.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm paying you and I have a field supervisor to supervise you, and you come in at 7 in the morning and at 9 o'clock you're gone for the day, but you expect to get a whole day's pay.
Well, that's not just a Grenadian problem, by the way. That's a Caribbean problem.
It is a Caribbean problem, but we have to change.
And I think one way to begin to solve that, and I actually sort of was in a kind of discussion, well, really a couple of exchanges that I had with my good friend Brian Grimes, who I think is an outstanding young man, and you know, we have differences in terms of his role as a union and me coming in as an entrepreneur. But the one way to begin to solve that is to privatize more of what government do. Let government focus on the initiative, provide security, provide education. They're not very good at providing healthcare. You know, so reduce what you do as a government and then privatize more of what is needed with the appropriate guardrails, and you'll get a lot more bang for your buck from the private sector than you can ever get from government.
Well, that's true. That's true to a certain point. You'll get more, yes, you'll get more bang, but at the same time, in privatization, some employees lose their job because the companies become more profit oriented, and they do lay off in privatization.
Okay, but the flip side to that is that for example, Grenada has a bloated public service now that does not produce. So when you look at the negative impact that that's having on the economy, because if you're paying hundreds of people who are not producing, you're also dragging down your economy, and you're not creating wealth, you're not expanding the economy. So more and more people are going to suffer. So listen, I'm not a complete acolyte of privatization, but there are just some things that the private sector does exceedingly well, and they do it much, much better than any government ever going to be able to do.
That's correct. That's totally correct, you know. So, comrade, I'll turn you over to the host, Mr. Callis, and you know, it's nice talking to you, and I hope we can continue having these.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. We all want the same thing. We just have slightly different approaches.
That's right. At the end of the day, we're going to find a common road that we all can travel on, the benefits of all Grenadians at home and in the diaspora.
Okay.
Again, comrade, thanks for the exchange. Thank you.
All right. Good, my brother. Good, my brother.
Yes, sir. Well, but I think Kenny Lassie said best. All political parties have the same agenda. All want to serve greater and give the best, right?
No, all political parties generally want to stay in power.
I guess that's a common theme, right?
that's the number one agenda. That's the number one agenda. And listen, there is nobility in that, because if you believe in doing good and you believe in empowering and helping your people, then staying in power should be your number one goal, because the byproduct of that is that you're helping your people move forward.
Right.
So I'm not opposed to a political party wanting to hold on to power. What I'm saying is that let's build new vehicles to keep expanding the tangibles that we deliver to people. And I mean, listen, those who are going to listen to me and say, oh, you know, he was an old communist, because I hear it all the time, right? That, you know, don't worry them and this, and these guys are still crying about the revolution and whatnot. But the reality is that we really have regressed. We have regressed. As a young man growing up under Gary, and then coming of age during the revolution, this is not the Grenada I thought
you'd have been living in today, right?
Yeah, you know, I am really disappointed.
Right? Yeah. Just born in 83 when the ocean collapsed, right? And to see not only him, but a number of persons who grew up after the revolution heard about what had happened. They heard about the tragic end of the revolution, but they also understood that who built this big airport, who did the agro industry, hearing about the agro industry, hearing about the CPB, hearing about the Eastern Mineral Project, hearing about the nationalization of the different banks, you know, the Caribbean Wireless, all this. So what happened to this origin thereafter? You know? So I think the biggie here is this, that we learn more about the ocean now, and we want back the same thing. I think now there's a yearning for what the ocean has done.
Well, that's true, but folks like him would not have actually learned about the revolution. They would have learned about what the US wanted them to know about the revolution.
Right. But I think being who he is and the people around him now, like Iran Redhead and so on, they know what the ocean, they have an idea from the parents. Because look at the Priero, right? What's his name? Roman?
Alistair.
Yeah, his father was a lieutenant, was a lieutenant. Yeah. I think, in the army. Huey Roman, right? Then you have the Northeast guy. His father was involved in the Radio Grenada, Free Grenada, right? So he must have had some talk about in the house about the ocean. So at least apparently from what the US wanted us to believe, my daughter came home the other day and Daddy, I heard you fought with these American people, the red, and blue flag. I said, yes, I did. You did kill them? I said, what do you want to know that for? You know, so you can kill American soldiers too. So I said to her, don't worry, we defeated them. They had to run anyway. You know, they lost the part, but they win the war, because a lot of people, you know, still believing that, oh, they came to rescue people, right? So me being a soldier, I had to explain to my daughter every time he see American flag, Daddy, you hate these people? I say, I don't hate the people. I don't like the foreign policy. You know what I mean? So I had to have a whole history with my daughter about that war that we fought against the Americans. So.
Actually, there's a gentleman, Liverpool. He's writing a book for the 50th anniversary on the children of the revolution.
Well, where he getting information from too?
What he's doing is people going to come to the people like you and others who were part of the revolution, so he can get your story.
My story is I have a part one of.
Is he from Grenada?
St. Patrick's.
Huh?
St. Patrick's a Krong City man again, you know, Delbert.
Okay, so
we talk to you.
Of course, you know I'm biased to Krong City.
I hope he talk to you, Delbert, because at the end of the day, St. Patrick's have to be waving the flag again.
Hey, yeah, I'm very biased to my piece of the rock.
Piece of the rock.
Yes.
John,
Hey. Ava,
Without interrupting you, I'm sorry, but Ntaba is here.
okay. I trying to send it to you right now. So I'm just pushing this stuff together here. I'm looking to find the bigger ones, the bold ones. Remember we had the bold ones? Yeah. So
Yes, I need you to send them for me so that I can
yes.
go and make sure I get them to be done the right size and all of that in time for later.
Okay. And we're trying to do ticket sales today, right here, right now on this radio station. So Grenadians across the spectrum.
Is Genesis going to be covering the event from the event? Is Genesis going to be covering the event?
I cannot come and just cover like this.
We'll talk about that.
You talk about that? Okay. I can just come in and just come show me making prime minister face and you don't I have to get invitation to do that.
Because I know the Genesis covers the Canadian audience. So I just trying to find out.
Okay.
Val, I'm with him right now. Do you mind covering the live?
Yeah, I could do that, but you know, she's the production manager.
No problem.
So
I'll
you
I'll
get right
send
in.
it to your daughter right.
Yeah, and then we want to do the parents are copy in his hand, so what of the magazine as well. So that
Well, I'm asking that question in my capacity as editor of the magazine. I just want to make sure.
is also the editor of the magazine.
Don't you forget.
John,
Hey,
hi Val, good morning. John,
Good morning, Delbert. How are you? I hold my tongue on your exchange. So, but you know, John and I have our own platform. So, but I hold my tongue on your exchange in the meantime because I have other very pressing matters that John is attending to for me. So, bye everybody. I'll see
Val,
you guys.
Val,
Yes?
you know I don't possess that quality, so
Which quality you don't possess?
the one that would enable me to hold my tongue.
Oh, well, you better learn it.
I have to get Margaret, you know.
You better learn it.
I nursed that in milk. I'm not changing right now.
we have to get, and then we have that show with
You are who you are. And I will make sure I speak to Genesis as well, John.
okay.
But I gotta go. I gotta go. I got some things.
Look forward.
Val, before you go, I'm gonna reach out to you sometime this week. There's something that sort of just landed on my desk, and I would like to talk to you about it.
Perfect, no problem. You know me.
All right.
Anytime. My
All right.
door is always open.
All right, great.
Yes, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And
You
John,
too,
I
you too.
insist on my position as editor about Genesis covering the event.
Okay.
All right.
I
Send
think
me
the way you had-
the documents.
Of the group to it. So
Send me the documents, please.
okay.
Take
All right.
care.
I'll send them now. Yeah.
Right, thank you. Bye-bye. You're doing the edited version?
No, just doing one. I won't have time to do the editing one.
Yeah,
Right?
you won't have time. It's all right. Just send me what you have.
Okay.
Thanks, Emil. Take care.
One
All
of
right,
them.
bye-bye.
Okay.
Yeah. So the event is happening, and we're here again to this Saturday again, talking about the event. I want to talk just about the event. Are you coming up for the event?
I wanted to, but I don't think I'll be able to just because of
I'm gonna have to get a girlfriend. That might bring you for
something that happened this week. I possibly landed my biggest contract this week for organizing a funding conference in New York for an African country. Can't name it right now, but contacted by someone from the president's office to get something going. This is the biggest thing that I will have done outside of my activities during the revolution. And
nice.
I want it to be super successful. And I got to put a team together to get it done.
All right. So you won't be able to come up. So that we will hold you hostage to that, you know, because we will give a pass on this one. But going forward, I want to see you come up to the event when we have it here, you know.
That's right, Delbert.
And so yeah, so as part of as the co-host to the show, you know, it will be nice to next time we have Independence. So, but are you going to Grenada for Independence or staying in
I think I'm gonna be in Grenada for Independence. That's my plan right now. Yeah.
That's my plan B. My
Yeah.
plan A. That's my plan A. I'm trying.
But I'm head of the St. Patrick's Committee for Independence Celebration in New York, so I don't know how I'm going to pull that off.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I hope you will come up, man. That would be nice to have you up here. I will go. I want to go Grenada too, right? But I still want to celebrate here as well. So we got to
Grenada
celebrate.
is always before.
Before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after
then
yeah. So I have to get myself a free ticket. I want to take my whole family to Grenada for that. So I have to sell some ads, right? That could buy me like one page could buy me a ticket for my family and to have fun. And you know, after I go to Grenada, right? Since I've been here, I've been going to Grenada for funerals only.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
I went to Grenada first for the hurricane. Couldn't find my mother-in-law.
Okay.
So we had to find where she was and all kinds of stuff. We go dig up, we find her down right on the Butler house in a little shack. Somebody set up there over there. Right? Then I went back in 2005 to get her in a home. Right? After my father passed away, I went to Grenada. Then next year my sister died. You know, my uncle died. So I keep going there for funeral and I haven't been to Grenada on a vacation.
Well, no, next year make it your 50th
Yes.
celebration
for everything. So I'm not going to no family house, I'm going to a hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a tourist for that month or that week or 2 weeks. I'm gonna go and enjoy Grenada on the beach.
Yeah.
Have somebody serving the family. We're not doing no cooking or nobody. I don't cook for John, I don't cook for your wife, I don't cook for, no, I don't want nobody do that.
Well, let's put it there. You, myself, a few others gonna be down there.
Yeah.
Right? So we're gonna do something.
We're gonna
do something.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on the lane where I am there. We have two shops
Is it right
and
there?
a platform on the top.
Okay.
So we do a little thing there. We do a get together.
Yeah, man. You have to have something.
Yeah, I'm planning on being there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going there, man. Trust me. I've been out here and I've been working every day doing my thing. I'm trying to build my brand, do the radio station, do the magazine and stuff like that. And I trust me, it's hard work, it's a lot of work, and I'm putting everything into this to make sure it works.
I think the events in New York next year for Independence is going to actually precede that date. So it will be possible for me to be in New York. And I think the events are going to be the week of January 29th, thereabout, because the actual Independence Day is a Wednesday. So our events would be somewhere between the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay.
That would give me enough time to do the St. Patrick's, the St. Patrick's Committee for Independence, do what I have to do with them. We've actually started planning already. And then we'll probably be able to fly off the Monday or the Tuesday to be in Grenada for the celebration. As you know, I have an unhealthy and complicated relationship with Independence, but I would like to be there for it.
You gotta be there for it, man. It's one of the big things that happening, you know, and whether we like it or not, we have to, that might be the game changer, you know? And I think we should work on our own constitution going forward, you know?
Yeah, we have to do that, but I don't think this is the right time.
No, it might be the right time. Like, you know, it can only, you know, it could be the wrong thing the right time and the right thing the wrong time. You know, I think the constitution is it's overdue. It's time. You need to overhaul already, you know?
Yeah. But you don't want it to be a distraction in this period. The key thing that the government needs to be focused now on, above anything else, is job creation.
Yes.
Okay. And it's difficult to do it because I don't know how much you could expand the public sector, you know. So the challenge is going to be what kind of aggressive, business-friendly legislation you put in place to attract businesses. And I think one of the things that I would love to see the Prime Minister speak about it in this upcoming period is, one, to speak more forcefully about us uniting as a people for the good of the country across different political barriers or political lines.
Okay.
And also for the Ministry of Cooperative,
Mhm.
if there is a way for them to streamline the formation of cooperatives with
Right.
folks, us in the diaspora, I
Okay.
might want to do a project in Grenada. I might be able to come up with $100,000. Okay. But that project probably might employ just 5 or 6 people or whatever.
Well, the
Okay.
cooperative started about 2 or just 5 people to start a cooperative.
But if we come together, me, you,
The,
10, 15 other people,
during the revolution, we had changed it
then,
from
huh?
100 people forming a co-op to 5.
Yeah.
Like banks, credit unions, they are the only one who have to have at least 100 members. So we have changed it to 5, and I've been in conversation with the Prime Minister about that a few times, about reviving the cooperative.
Wait. Change it to how much?
5 people can form a
Okay.
co-op.
All right. Good.
When did that pass? Because I don't think.
During the rebel,
During the revolution time.
during the rebel, we had changed it to 5, and I asked her that about a year ago, and she told me she thinks it's still at 5, but
No, it's not at 5.
No, it's in the books as file. I was present.
No, it absolutely is not. That's one of the conversation I had.
When was that?
I just had that conversation with the Ministry of Cooperatives 2 weeks ago.
They had changed it back after in 1983. They had changed it.
Listen. To form a co-op in Grenada right now, you must have a minimum of 10 people. And the conversation is not in lowering it. The conversation is increasing the number to get more serious people to qualify. So if it was 5 during the revolution, it was 5. But right now, it's not just only about Grenada, because the legislation is tied to part of OECS regulation. So they can't just arbitrarily change it like that.
All right, that's understood. But what I'm saying, like, I was part of the co-op. Actually, I was running most of the co-op during the PRG time. And this 5 is what we have changed it to.
Yeah.
If it has been changed after 1983 to 10, then that's what it is.
Because I know that as the president of the Grenada Union Cooperative, I knew that's what we had 5, and the president of the Grenville St. Andrews Working Cooperative too. Right. So I knew that was 5. So those who change it now, we want to change to, because
Yeah, but 5 is not a good number.
Well, I was a start to get a lot of people involved in the process. I think that was the whole objective, to get people involved in the process.
And then you hire laborers.
But even at 5, how do you get a board of directors out of 5 people?
No. After that, you could have done what you could have done is invite other people from the community to become board of directors. Yeah, you don't have to be the members itself. You have, for example, we had 6, 7 people outside of that from what do you call it, lady? From art, we had from
Regina Taylor.
And we had that lady, what's her name? We had Joan Purcell. We had Judy. A number of persons, on that board of directors. So we had that. So not just the members itself, but members are members, and
because you still there's still one Jams Co-op in Pedmonton.
Yeah,
the furniture co-op. They were one of the first that were formed, and
there's a furniture co-op in Chantemelle formed in 1970.
Michael became the president after I left.
And then there was the young poultry farmers with Nugent Lamotte. And so we did.
And then the other thing about the co-ops, I'm pro co-op. I'm big on co-op because it does 2 things. It helps people. It's almost following a sort of Jewish tradition in investing. It brings people together with common interests and liquidity to try and accomplish a particular goal. It also demonstrates to others in the community the ability of us as a people to work collectively together. And under the co-op rules in Grenada, there are no corporate taxes. And it gives owners, shareholders of the co-op, tremendous opportunity to import raw material and equipment and everything. So almost duty free. So the reason I think co-op should be given more attention is that I believe that it would attract more people in the diaspora to come together to invest in, small to mid-sized projects in Grenada. If you can do something that creates 10 to 15 employment per co-op, it would really transform. And listen, Grenada has a lot of business opportunities, a lot. There are a lot of opportunities in business in Grenada. But we have to do better on creating a sort of a one-stop, create a unit, whether it's in the Ministry of Economic Development or in finance, that I can go there and get everything that I want done to set up my business, and the kind of support that you would need for somebody like me. I probably don't need the support in management and so forth, but the legislation can't be based on people like us. It has to be based on the young people in Grenada. So you do have to offer them that kind of training, that kind of support, hold their hands for a couple of years and to ensure that they succeed. But I'm big on co-ops.
I'm second to you. I'm
a co-op man.
I'm very big. I talk co-ops every day. I see co-op, I talk co-op, and I would like to help rebuild the cooperatives.
Yeah.
It's funny that after the revolution, I went to the ministry, which is Francis Alexis, right? And we presented our case to him and stuff like that. He was the minister of cooperative.
Yes.
The man trying to ask me if I recognize the Taxi Association as being part of our organization. I said, no. They're not unemployed youths. They're people who have their own vehicle and running their own thing by themselves, and they could do it by themselves. They don't need to be us to do that. However, he said, "Well, I can't recognize you guys." And then the man had the audacity to ask me if I build education and production too. You know what I mean? I said yes, and he said, "Well, I can't help you." I said, "Thank you very much." Okay. Walk on this span. He said to me, "I don't think he will last long in his office." 2 weeks later, NDC split up. Right? And Kit Mitchell became the Minister of Cooperative.
Yeah.
So I filed a letter to Kit the next day, right? The next 2 weeks, right after everything, I sent it off to him. And make sure he hand delivered. We want to go to him. He got that, right? And he replied to us to meet with us the next week, the Tuesday.
Yes.
And then we scheduled the next day, the Wednesday, to go to all the co-ops in Grenada. He went with us. We went Carriacou and all. The Thursday. And Kid gave us the duty-free concessions, 100% duty concession.
Okay.
And he said that's a good help for him, so he don't have to worry about too much about doing the co-op thing. We have people who take care of that. Yeah. So he was happy for that. But not only that, I got him to do a project that was started in PRG time, a water and electrification program up in Guapo. And he gladly came out, and more or less people come out that evening to hear him speak. And the next morning, the other Wednesday evening, the Thursday morning, the trucks rolling, put water and fix electricity. And I think he was on a mission, right? So he was doing all of this. And you ask him to do, he was doing it. That's the man to go to.
Because that was part of his larger goal.
Yes, to get in power, to become that person, to have that reign and power, and he's there. I want to ask you something there, but before we go into the talk about the upcoming event, I see that the former Prime Minister of Grenada, have cut several ties with his lawyer, because the lawyer Nigel, because they favored Miss Church, the woman, right? Her husband. Yeah. So he cut ties with them. What do you think? Everyone in business for their own interest, right? Yeah. What do you think about that move? Is this something that is vindictive, or just being business as usual? Just business.
Well, he lost the case, so he has a right to change attorney.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he appealing the case?
I don't think so. I see nothing to that effect.
No. Well, the main vein in Keith is a vindictive vein, right? Mm-hmm. So he if it was another person, I would say it was a purely sort of business decision based on the legal egos of his attorney. But knowing him as I do, the fact that the wife showed up at that event, that the man had sleepless nights over that, and his way of getting back to her, he wouldn't, in other words, getting rid of the husband as his attorney, one way of him, it's his pettiness and vindictiveness. I mean, listen, a person has the right to have the best legal representation. At some point in time, he must have felt that this gentleman was able to provide him that. For whatever reason, he has severed ties with him now. And the new attorney he has, Jerry. I know Jerry very well. Jerry's a great attorney, good guy. And I think one of the things that people make a mistake all the time in Grenada and in other countries too, but certainly it happens in Grenada.
Okay. All right.
We think that if you're an attorney, you should only represent good people, or you should only represent people you agree with. If we allow the legal profession to mature that way, it would not, it would fail. So I already saw somebody actually sent me a private message because they know, that I know Jerry, and said, how could he represent him? Because he's an attorney, and that's how the system works.
Okay.
So if the prime minister chooses to hire him, fine. And if he agrees to represent the prime minister's interest, the former prime minister's interest, so be it. But you can't just assume that because somebody has decided to work for somebody that they support their political, he's a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. And, that's some of the thing. And even yesterday, Mikey was asking the PM some questions that people get upset. But other journalists, you have to ask certain questions, and I see nothing wrong with the question that he asked the prime minister, But those, there are those people just as bad as some NMP people, right?
I mean, the big thing for me was the sort of push or the massive, and that's one of the areas where NDC is failing, right? They need a more orchestrated public information campaign to tell people what they're doing, and if something doesn't go right, to acknowledge it. But there's a massive propaganda campaign being pushed by the failed prime minister to muddy up the waters. That's what he's trying to do, to keep people confused, to keep them in a state of political anxiety. And it is why I suggested that the prime minister should be speaking out a little more often on us uniting as a country and moving forward, and acknowledge where there are mistakes, acknowledge whatever shortcomings that may exist, things that we may or may not be able to do. But I was very happy to see him basically tell Kit Mitchell this week, listen, when it comes to healthcare, you guys need to shut up and sit down, because for almost 3 decades, let me tell you something. We had better healthcare in October of 1983 than we have in Grenada right now. Okay, we have more doctors, we have more whatever, but we had better delivery of healthcare in Grenada in 1983 than we have now. The system is bankrupt, and I mean, it takes a certain amount of chutzpah, it takes a certain amount of balls, as Grenadians would say, for you being prime minister for
30-something.
How many decades, right? And then a year into the new government, you criticizing them about healthcare when you failed to pay the OECS consortium that buys drugs for the OECS countries. Grenada was owing in last year millions of dollars because Keith never paid it. Because if Keith broke a fingernail, he was on a flight the next morning to Miami or New York to have it repaired.
I know one of the things that he did, right? Even during COVID, he didn't stay in Grenada, you go for treatment, right? Just have to go for treatment too, right? So that was, but politicians go be politicians, But then there is something I think Deacon said the other day, is that if you're comfortable with all the bad bad operations and all the bad things, continue voting for the same thing. But if you want change, just vote for a change. I think what we have to do, other people, is to galvanize around the structure that want to build, the architect that want to build a new Grenada. And everyone should be participating in that process of building Grenada together. See, there is a difference. I see what happened during the Revolution time. People wasn't forced into a situation, People was gladly, so-called, pulled into the situation in the Revolution, They become part of it. They see it as their thing. When the airport started, it was a big project. The Eastern Main Road was a big project. Everybody wanted free healthcare, housing program was the thing. Agro industry was a big thing. The banks was another big thing. You have 44 state enterprises set up in 4 years. 44 state enterprises. I don't know what I like about saying about this, right? I remember Maurice saying a state enterprise is not set up to be subsidized.
No.
But state enterprise too must make a profit. Yes, and then through that profit, you go back. And Bono was on the show here saying about the national insurance scheme. The money that is made from that, the profit that is made out of this, right? You build houses, you either lease them out, rent them out, or sell them. So you're making back your money, big time. Either way, you'll be winning. I hope that's the direction they'll be going. I know they're paying off some good stuff. But I want to talk to you about the upcoming event. Okay. Coming up on the 1st of July. The Prime Minister will be on the cover of Genesis magazine. Okay. All right. And yes, that was a big thing because I talked about it because that man also comes in December with him on the cover.
I remember.
Right. Yes. But this computer went down. He wasn't working at all.
Okay.
I bought a new one and then he started working. Okay. I'm getting Wi-Fi right now. It was just trying to prove that you can push me around. So like another lover, so you get It's working since I got the new.
That's like when you have a toothache and you decide to go to the dentist. You just start.
So now he started working. I'm working right here. I haven't transferred anything to the new computer yet. Right. Laptop. So working on the old laptop, right. But it's still working. So I'm hoping that Monday will be the last day for everything had to come in. Had to come in Sunday night, 12 a.m. So you have the deadline. So I'll bring it in at my job on Monday. So the guy will copy everything, take it, make sure you're ready for publication, and get it printed. Get a print copy by Wednesday, approved copy on Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, print and ready to go. Nice. We want to sell $20 a copy, $19.99 a copy, and it's gonna be in Amazon. No, just at the event. So people come in the event. We don't want to pre-order. They can pre-order. So when they come to the door, at the desk, they pick up the copy right there, and the Prime Minister sign it for them. So we're hoping to get the Prime Minister to sign some of the copies for the people who purchase the copy. All right. So that will be a good thing for them. All right. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. If we get all the money that we want to get selling tickets, if 1,000 people come and they buy a ticket, we go talk. So, yeah. We're hoping that we could get 1,000 copies. Okay. At $20. Well, $19.99. We don't have pennies again in Canada, right? LDC is the penny dead too. He died the penny dead. Right. He died 6 months after the penny dead, right? All of a sudden, the man just gets sick and dead after the penny dead. So I don't know if he and the penny had a thing going on. So give it a penny and then he died after that. So the event is coming up. The Prime Minister is coming up. They have who's the entertainment. You ask me who's entertaining? Who's the entertainers? I don't know if you know Bosco Samuel. I know Bosco. He used to be the also he was in the cultural thing as well with Biggs and them. Yeah. So he's gonna be he's the panelist. He'll be playing during the cocktail hour. Okay. Out in the gallery out there. Nice. And we have Eddie Bullen, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie, he's Toronto based, yes, artist, yeah. Will be serenading us. Okay. We have this young guy from Montreal. Stephen Noel. Okay. His parents are Grenadians. Okay. And he is going to come and sing gospel. Okay. Nice. And there is always a call for PGP to be participate. So yeah. PGP. He could sing too. He's going to be singing. Yeah, I'm almost say from Chantimel, but if I'm go off, right? The box. Chantimel, I'm not a bride. But I can't do that. Remember Duncan, the man? Yeah. His granddaughter. Okay. She'll be participating. She's nice. She's an opera singer. Okay. So that's cool. So those are we try to stay local and because of the time frame that we have, we really couldn't overbook too many entertainments. Right. So so those are the key entertainers that we will be having at the function. I know there is I listened to the ad, right? And you've been saying an NDC Resource Center, right? And also the Indian people say, Indian people personally reason what as I'm on the ground. So I tell you what people say. So why is that NDC thing? Why you can't be agreeing with that thing?
Well,
Why you know?
you see, there is the center basically
It's built by
is built by the NDC,
yes.
but it's for all Grenadians.
For all Grenadians.
Any Grenadian, whether you're an NPG, ULP, or whoever.
Good old government, good old democracy.
Good old,
Yeah, but the Prime Minister made it very, very, very clear from the very beginning that
Yes.
one of his goals by the end of his first term was to ensure that the party had a headquarters, you know, a place where you can do business. So I don't see anything wrong with that. This happens just like the president here going out and having a fundraising campaign for a particular political event. That's completely normal. And
Yeah, but you and I know that there's always that 12 people on NNP bandwagon on Facebook, right?
yeah,
But those in the street too, that is, you know, why is that? You know, and
it's just to create confusion. You
Yes.
know, the NNP had theirs in Mount Helicon, right? That's by the roundabout.
Roundabout, yeah.
Mount Helicon there.
yeah, they're not there anymore. I don't think so.
Well, he lost the case. His wife.
oh,
got the building.
you wife got the building,
His wife
yes.
got the building. So that's what they were for years.
Okay,
I mean, NNP
headquarters.
were
Okay.
in Mount Helicon. You know, and people never raised.
No
they
concern
bought
about it.
They bought the building from Blue Danube. You know, and
Okay.
people never raised anything about that. So
Mm.
what is wrong in the NDC
Having
putting
the
a
own.
building up?
Right,
It's an NDC creation. It's not funds from the government that will be used to build it.
right.
It is donations
And
and contributions.
everybody could use it.
And
Every gradient, the gradient is a
it's
gradient
gonna-
thing.
It's going to be a building.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing.
So, folks, those of you listening right now, and those who will be listening later on,
And I'm glad well, I don't know whether it was the Prime Minister or whoever decided to, instead of calling it a political headquarters, call it the resource center. I think that was brilliant.
It's resourceful. You know, it's resourceful for all Grenadian Delbert with your expertise and your skills. If you say like you want planning on going back home to do business, right? You can say, well, I'd like to reserve day number, January, whatever, they use to train and educate young Grenadians in
Absolutely.
the skill sets that I have, you know, better personal communication. People lacking in those areas. You go into a store and the clerk looking at you mad.
Yeah,
waiting
don't
for
fight
you
with
to
you.
come in and say, "How can I help you?"
Boy, listen, customer service is non-existent in Grenada.
You know, I went to have my car at Hyundai, right? And that's what I think I struggle the most to say. Hyundai, or whatever it is. Hyundai. So folks at the Dufferin and Eglinton area of it, that's where I bought my car. And as I walked in there was a smile. I almost had a boy face. Like I give King Jesus show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On his face. And not only that, I was able to walk through and talk. I was outside looking at another car. And this lady named Maria, I didn't know her name yet, right? She said, "Oh, don't take the car, that's my car." She said, you know, and making fun. And I thought, well, we're not going inside. She says, "It's part of the staff." I'm thinking like, are you kidding me? I never got this kind of reception.
Right.
You know, so you walk in there and you feel as though you're part.
So those are the things that
of the business.
those are the things that we are hoping that we can change. I'm so happy that Sherman Wells is having these courses on customer
Service, yes.
because it's very important.
Yeah. I think I can do one to Eddie Frederick.
To grow, you need that customer service.
You need that,
The
man.
front is, you know, like
The face of the business.
It's like us during the revolution.
Yeah.
You have the
Pioneer, you have the business.
pioneers, you know,
Youth organizations.
right. So you have the front, you know, you have the front before the soldiers get into act. You understand? You have the People's Army first.
Yes.
You have to go through the
Go
People's Army before you meet the soldiers.
I say this.
So it's the same thing for the growth of any business in Grenada.
The reception.
In particular,
The reception have to be
reception at the front door
have to
is
be
how-
key.
Is how you approach. When I walk into a business, you see me as spending a minimum of $100 in there.
Yeah.
So it is my job to get that $100 out of you.
You can't leave your
So
something.
you have to buy something.
You know what I mean?
You didn't walk in here you came in here for a reason. It's up to me to find out what is it you want.
Yes.
How can
I am very selective. When I'm in Grenada, if I have patronized any business where I thought that the service was deplorable, it doesn't matter whether you're cheaper, whether you're closer to me, I will not spend my money there.
That's true. That's
I
true.
will not.
So Delbert, so that's what is one of the benefits of having a resource center that we're hoping to build.
Yeah.
It's accessible. You don't have to go in Sandals, or you don't have to go in Radisson, or you don't have to go in Koyoba to do something.
Right.
This is the people's thing, and this is what we lack in here in Canada.
Also,
Jamaica
yes.
have the center, we don't have one.
Yeah.
So I'm being visionary with John here right now. We have about 17, 18 different Grenadian groups
Yeah.
in the city. And I would like John to do a Zoom call with all the groups at once.
Yeah.
Let us see how we can move forward.
Because one of the things that is in finance is the last thing I said on the radio last night, that you have over 1 million Canadians in Canada here.
Yeah.
About that, right? The thing about if you appeal every Grenadian every month to give $1, 1 million Grenadians, give $1 every month.
Well, you know, I don't know if you were here yet.
Mm.
We were setting up a bank, a cooperative banks
Yeah.
for Caribbean, right at
I think you was there, and
at Vaughan and St. Clair.
yeah, you didn't last very long. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It didn't last because of mistrust. We don't trust our own people.
Oh,
I
I remember when the thing came
I
out.
think even Jerry Edwin, before he went back to Grenada, he wanted to do something like that, and Grenadians put up against it. Who is he and who is that? The first thing that Grenadians look at, well, who's John Callis, right? And then they go back to John Callis' great-great-grandfather and say, well, I know Mr. Callis, blah, blah, I want nothing to do with John.
Yeah.
You understand?
They keep painting everybody the same brush.
The same brush.
You know?
Instead of saying, well, you know, Delbert Baptiste is from St. Patrick. You know, I heard about this young man in St. Patrick, you know, who do you think he is? You understand? They don't look at you and who you are today.
Yeah.
They look at you from
what
where
you
came
was,
from.
the history.
Well, they did, and even then, they didn't know anything about you.
Yeah.
Because you could have been the boy with a little box card cutting grass, but they don't know that you're going to presentation college or you're going to SAP.
Exactly.
They don't know that because they never take the time
To do that, to
to
study
ask
that.
you a question. They just see you coming in the backyard and cutting bush.
You know, it's funny.
That's why I tell you the lift is very, very heavy.
Yes,
and earlier on you spoke about that change of mindset. It is so critical. And again, the Prime Minister has the largest sort of bully pulpit. So he has to
bully politics.
Yeah, he has to speak on those issues. But one of the things I'm hoping here, I'm wishing this is the, I would, if I was him, I would, because we are very divided now. Not as divided as we appear to be on Facebook, but we are divided. If I was the Prime Minister, I would invite the former Prime Minister as the opposition leader to do a joint address to the nation on us, on unity, us coming together as one people. We are basically outside of the political season now. I am afraid what I call the Americanization of the Caribbean, where we are in perpetual political mood, okay? It stagnates the country, okay? Because if for you, 5 years goes by pretty quickly. And if after a party has won, if we continue that sort of destructive, needless politicking, it prevents us from accomplishing good and big things. So if he calls him now and he refuses, then that says who he really is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if he comes up and say, yes, I'll do it, then you put him on the spot.
Yes.
All right, because if he doesn't deliver after that, then he would have proven that he's a political hypocrite. But I am really concerned about the level of disunity and distrust among our people, that we see everything through partisan, because I'm not afraid of politics. What I'm afraid of is the partisan politics, where it can be clearly evident in somebody's eye that this party did something wrong or this political leader did something wrong. Because you're so indebted, that's almost kind of cultish behavior. where you're afraid to, if I'm 80% or 90% or 70% your supporter, don't make me your enemy. I'm there with you 70, 80%. I may not be 100%, but that is plague in Grenada. So I really want to see the Prime Minister speak, out a little more often on that. Why it's important for us to unite. We're a small country. We're an inverted country. More Grenadians live in the diaspora than live at home. How do we incorporate? How do we make people in the diaspora feel completely at home? Okay, and to the extent that, because many times the diaspora is just seen as an ATM machine. Okay, they don't take your ideas seriously. They don't take what you have to say, and mostly all the political parties are guilty of that. So how do we incorporate? I'm tired of going to Grenada. I know Grenada, probably every square inch from my days. And when I go, I travel around the island. And I'm deeply offended when somebody call me a JCB, or as soon as you get into a conversation with them and you try to bring in a different perspective, okay? They tell you, well, so when you going back again? Because they don't want to be no part of that conversation. That's the way we've been doing it for 50, 60, 70 years. Brother, that's the way I'm going to keep doing it. And that's disheartening to me, I think your audio went out, John.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to text in your question and ask the question, or call in your question on the town hall in regards to the two prime minister, current and past, getting together and have a joint conversation to the Grenadian at home and the diaspora. Yeah,
I think it would be helpful. We can't move, and John Toro speaks about that all the time.
Yeah.
You can't move a country forward with just 50% of the people pulling their weight, because right now there are people who, within different institutions in Grenada who are strong supporters of the NNP, and that's fine. You can't expect everybody to support you, but like you were saying earlier on, if you're paid to do a job, do your job and stop sabotaging the government. Okay, so that's why I think it would be important for the former prime minister to join in, because if you love that country, it's not just about you being prime minister. It's about seeing the country grow. So if the country is growing, despite the fact that you are not prime minister, you should still be happy. You should still be happy, but we don't have that in Grenada. And we're too small to be divided. We're just too small. There are too many evidence in history that teaches us that if we continue down that path, we're going to have very stagnated growth or no growth at all.
All right, let's take a commercial break and we'll come right back. All right, here it is.
Grenadians and Friends of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
The question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want a society that we plan, that we set goals and work towards achieving them? Or do we want a society where we get up and say, whatever happens, happens? That is ultimately the test that we must pass. A society does not improve by chance. We don't become wealthy by chance.
We have the best picture and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best picture and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lie. We have the best Mitchell and we like it. Young, intelligent, full of vibes. The best Mitchell and we like it. Deacon Mitchell won't tell you no lies. Oh gosh, Deacon intelligent. Wow, he's so magnificent. Oh gosh, the people he represent. Yes, and he will not relent. Oh gosh, the country about heart. Not an opinion, that is a fact. With Deacon, the future real bright. Go vote, go vote, go vote.
Yes, folks, this is Gem FM. I'm your host, the Sheriff, yours truly, John Guy. Sitting with me today is Mr. Nuss, Robert Nuss, Chairman of the Grenada NDC. Oh, hold on. Let me put this. Oh, yeah. Where is this thing? The NDC support group in Toronto. And we're talking about different things, but really why he's here today, because I was saying today I will talk about from 11 o'clock, 1 hour conversation about the gala. And what I want to say to Grenadians here, right, it's not just about the cost, about the reason for the cost. Yes?
Yes.
It's not about you investing in your children's future. A place where they can go and get information, the place they could gather together. It's a resource center for Grenadians. So you're not paying for you. No, that money you're paying not for you. It's for your children and your children's children, the nation's children, the future of Grenada. You're paying that forward to them for. So I know, yes, it's hard. The 250 is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, and it's hurt some people to have to spend $250. But think about the future of Grenada and where you want Grenada to be, and look at the development that change are taking place and will be taking place. So you need a resource center. You need a place, an information sort of center, we could go in and get information where people can gather together and share knowledge, right? They're not, I mean, we have this place in them, but it's not really owned by Grenada, right? Exactly. We have the hotel, most of the hotel, you pay them the money, go out of the country, really. And that is pocket change for those people, yeah? You do that? To host a conference in a place, it's not like a room, like, that extra $20,000 or whatever, $8,000 for a day, or $10,000 or $3,000, whatever it is they get in, that's pocket change for them. Yes. Right? So we could take that money and if that structure is finished, that money will be charged for people using this center, come to have a conference from the Caribbean, Instead of going to the hotel, we market that place as a resource center. We could have all these seminars and training and stuff like that. And that money go out to help pay back before the cost of the others. You can do other things, probably give scholarships and do other stuff for the resource center. So $250, guys, yes, it's tough, it's hard, but it's worth it. It is worth it. It's talking about taking the wisdom teeth by keeping the pain. You know what I mean?
John, what I want to add to that is that I'll give you an example. I was delivering tickets yesterday, and a gentleman called me. He said, "Are tickets still available?" I said, "Yes." I said, "How many do you need?" He said, "I want 3. I asked for his address. I went to drop him the 3 tickets. Now, he never asked me how much the tickets cost.
Just one ticket.
He said, "I want 3 tickets," right? When I got there, I said, "Do you know how much it costs?" He said, "How much is it?" $250. He get on his phone, he interact me, $750.
Right.
He said, "Man, I know it's for a good cost. I went to GBSS." And
Right.
my daughters, I've been telling them about Grenada. And I told my daughter birthday, and I said, "I'm going to take you to this Grenada event."
See?
Right?
That's different. Let me tell you something about that too. I learned one thing that what I probably heard you say the wrong thing. When you're broke, you buy the cheap food.
Yes.
When you rich, you don't worry about the price of the food or the quality of the food that you receive.
Exactly.
Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
So broke people worry about price.
So
People have disposable money.
They're going to say, as a businessman, nobody go into a business to lose, right?
No.
You're hoping to make a profit on your investment, right? So because we don't own anything in Canada or Toronto, wherever, that belong to Grenada, our negotiating power is limited to what we can negotiate.
Right.
And it's how much the other side is willing to
negotiate with us.
You, right? We got that place because they throw out another person from having because they wanted to work with us.
Wow.
Right? They give them a deadline to come in with a deposit because they were aware they couldn't bring in the deadline funds when they needed.
Okay.
So because the deadline came, they said, "Sorry, we're going to give it to somebody else." So they give it to us. Okay. So we are responsible some people still don't understand the difference between a political organization and a community organization.
Mhm.
In a political organization, doing something, you're restricted. In a lot of things you can do as a community organization.
Mhm.
So we invited the Prime Minister to come here, right?
Right.
And he gave us the time he's available to come. So we are responsible from the time you leave Grenada to the time you return back to Grenada. We're responsible for all the expenses,
Mhm.
okay? And it's not cheap, you know, understand? It's not cheap.
Yeah.
For 4 tickets alone is very expensive because you're
Yeah.
paying for 4 tickets.
Even food.
The hotel accommodation is very expensive.
Is there any way, sometimes I listen to these things there. Is there any way you could get the airline to sponsor those tickets?
No, you see, they could sponsor a ticket non-political.
Oh.
The only thing they can give you is a discount on the ticket you purchase.
Mhm,
If you call Caribbean Airlines and say, I want a complimentary ticket to bring up John Crow,
mhm.
they'll give it to you.
Right.
But if I go to Caribbean Airlines, I will need a ticket to bring up Minister Ron Redhead. They will say, no, I can't do that.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
can give you a discount, but I cannot give you a complimentary ticket. Neither can I give you a ticket to raffle at the function.
Okay.
Could
You do a community.
We got to negotiate better though, because when we sign in these deals with these airlines, because right about now I am so angry at JetBlue and the other US based carriers that fly into the Caribbean, and it speaks to our lack of cooperation. That's why I had a heated argument with someone this week. He sent me something about CARICOM 58, and I'm like, we should have buried CARICOM a long time ago. It has not served the people of the Caribbean well. It's basically a failed organization. So why am I celebrating it? Because had CARICOM succeeded, we would have been able to bring our people together along all kind of different interests, okay? There's no reason why we should not have a regional carrier that really services the Caribbean from the main ports where many of us live in the diaspora, whether it's London, whether it's Toronto, Montreal, New York, Florida, Atlanta, those Miami, Atlanta, those places. Caribbean Airlines should have been actively servicing those routes and dominating that if CARICOM had succeeded. So we have to figure out a way, and the only way forward for it, because we're small, right? The only way forward for us is for us to invite and to invite greater cooperation among ourselves, and then we can compete. When JetBlue came out, you could fly to Grenada for $300 return. Now it's $1,000. It's cheaper. I flew to London with them, and it was cheaper to go to London with them than it was to go to Grenada.
As Parra said, if Jamaica know they didn't want to be part of
the federation,
right? It's the same thing that goes on today. The islands feel they're much more competitive than the smaller ones. Will always dictate the terms. Barbados are dictating the terms. So every airline industries, what you can, how you can, and thing. But we are still there. We don't even have a regional flight to Grenada, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Dominica.
Yeah.
I mean, to go to Guyana, I think the Minister of Foreign Affairs had to go through so many different places to end up in Guyana. Three different stops before we get to Guyana.
And we right in the region. We right in that same region, right? Guyana is what, about 400 miles from Grenada?
Yeah. So getting back to what we're doing here, the cost of $250 is basically our expense and to help support in some form or the other towards the building of the resource center. And we are trying to establish that, encourage Grenadians to buy a block, whatever it is, how much you buy a block to help us, so we can borrow less funds from the bank. In that way, when we offering services, we can offer services at a cheaper rate.
Right.
Because we don't have a big mortgage as you are into housing. I'm also into housing. If you're buying a house for $100,000, you got $5,000, you got $95,000 mortgage. If you're buying a house for $100,000, you got $55,000, you're borrowing $45,000 mortgage, so your monthly payment will be way different.
Mhm.
right? So we are trying to see how much funds we can collect outside of having to borrow. We are in negotiation right now for land,
Mm.
right? We're in negotiation for land for two different reasons. Land for the resource center and land to put a hospital.
Mm.
We are in negotiation for those two things at the moment.
Yeah, that's a
Alright.
big. I know, and I said the other day, but we spoke about that here, right? The government do something big.
Yeah.
Big, a big project. How the PRG did the airport, they do something big. So,
We're working on
and
it.
I think we will have an election in 3.5 years, not 4, not 5 years. I think
Why?
I think it's there for it.
We don't need an election right now.
No.
No, we don't need an election. What we need is this.
Elections cost money and they hold you back, man.
I know, but if you can't allow the NMP to regroup,
Well, it always be.
You don't have to fear NNP regrouping if you deliver intangibles.
We do what we
we
say we're
need
doing.
them in a position. You need them.
Yeah, if we do what we say we're doing, we shouldn't be afraid of no one.
No, you're not
Exactly.
Don't throw the seat at the table. You have enough seats.
So the $250
Mhm.
fellow Grenadians in the diaspora, and so Delbert, I'd like you to do a contribution, eh? You can send us.
Buy me a ticket there, but
You can donate a ticket to so one person.
Gem
would like to
FM,
come.
send me
I
a
have
ticket.
about 5 people who have done that. They can't make it and they donate tickets.
I did that for the New York leg already.
In Toronto now, eh? And your dollar is quite healthy over here.
Oh yeah, the dollar is strong right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just send
Gem FM, man.
the $210.
Yeah, you get tickets.
And you can announce it on the air.
No, I don't want that at all.
Just say the Gem FM, bro.
Send it to Gem
I
FM.
will appreciate that.
Yeah, so we have also a town hall meeting on this Sunday. It's going to be
Yes.
at the Tropicana Center, 1385 Huntington Wood Drive in Scarborough. We're asking all Grenadians and the friends to come out, come with your questions to ask the Prime Minister. He will answer anything you ask him. He's fearless. He'll answer whatever you want to throw at him. Delbert, send yours up. I will ask him on your behalf. So the first time that the Prime Minister is coming to Canada, and we want to give him a good welcome. Within the last 3 weeks, we have seen an upswing in the interest. People are showing that they want to be at the gala.
Right.
And we encourage it. What we book from other hall halls is two different things. So we are selling. So that is what it's all about. It's apart from the Prime Minister coming here, we want him to hug, greet, meet Grenadians.
Right.
That's what it's all about. The Prime Minister is exposed to the diaspora. We need the people in the diaspora feel like they're at home with it's our Prime Minister. It's not just the Prime Minister who remains in Grenada, Carriacou. He's in the diaspora. He's been in New York. He's here. He's going to Florida in October. He's going to England to meet with the diaspora. And this is what we want. This is what we ask of him as our Prime Minister. We have questions. We have concerns. We have concerns about clearing stuff on the docks. What can you do to make it easier?
See, that's the point I was making earlier on, about, the difficulty of doing business in Grenada. You can go to Grenada right now, okay? And if you meet a customs officer who for some reason doesn't like you, you end up paying more.
Delbert, you brought a good point up because my partner, Compass Shipping, Hilarious Barrows, his warehouse out on the Kirani James Boulevard. Officers working out of there.
Yes.
So you don't have to go to the treasury to bring back a stamped invoice that you paid.
Yeah, they do everything there. Yeah, I ship with him too. Yeah.
Shopping. Right?
He has a place in St. Patrick's also.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I know we have a buddy here, Green Chick, Eric Benjamin.
Yeah.
He pick it up and he drop it at your home. He clear it for you in customs and he take it at your home. So these are the type of transformation moving forward that we need to see within all the government ministry. I had an experience where I want to do set up a poultry farm. and I go to the Ministry of Health office is in the Botanical Garden. The person I have to see is in the Botanical Garden too. But the problem is when I call to meet him, he's on vacation. And nobody is. That was a while, about 3-4 years ago, right? So we want to be able, if I come and I say, John, I want to do some electrical, where do I need to get a permit? We want to say, as developer, say, just go across office number 4. You'll see Peter there and he'll look into it, you know, and instead of
what they need to do is to set up a resource center, right? Within the pull people from the different ministries, whatever, give it some fancy name, the Office of Business Development, the Office of whatever you want to call it. Okay, so if I go in there and obviously with anything you're doing, you sometimes have to deal with different agencies from the government. But just like, you know, if you're setting up a poultry farm, you have to deal with health, probably have to deal with agriculture, probably have to deal. All these people are right in there in that center. You move from desk to desk to desk, you get it done, you move on, finish.
That's what we look into, and hopefully that's where we will end up. But as you said, as I said before, it's a mindset trying to deal with some, what you call permanent secretaries who think that the job is for life. And they have more power than the minister. I remember I had a run-in during the rebel time with someone in Treasury, and I asked her, is your position higher than the minister? Or is your position higher than the permanent secretary? She couldn't give me those answers. So then why are you refusing to sign the voucher? I mean, accept, not sign, pay the people the vouchers for the work they've done. It's not your job. Permanent secretary signing, the minister, okay.
Well, the funny thing is that the Constitution gives the permanent secretary that power, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so I asked, you know, so these are the things that we have to look into. Make sure Grenada is equitable for everyone. And we are looking, you see, we had Delma came over with us. It's a joint thing that we want to work with everyone. We don't care whether you are an NMP, you vote NMP. No, there's an NDC here, it's a government. Give them an opportunity, see what they do, and you have an opportunity to vote them out if they didn't do what if they didn't show that they want to work with everyone, vote them out. But at least give them an opportunity to do their work. Right? Unification is important. We have to work with everyone, regardless.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, that's why I say I found people in my month in Grenada of course there's some cross section of the public, you know, where you can sense disappointment. And I know people from all different political walks of life, and some are pensive, but largely I found people very hopeful as to what the future could be like, you know, and there are challenges. I would like to see the Prime Minister broaden his appeal by trying to be as inclusive as is both humanly and physically possible. And if we can do these things, I mean, we can make some really notable changes in terms of how as a nation we grow, what becomes important to us, how do we best harness all our natural resources. Are there things that we are doing right now that are counterproductive to our growth and development, you know? Are there things that we can do that would encourage new industries to find roots and to grow? So I am hopeful, but I am an independent, and
no, somebody say NMP, not independent.
I am an independent. And in the true sense.
NMP, yeah. Remember that? Huh? The lady was calling you an NMP. Yeah. But anybody, I mean, that was a silly argument because every time she said, you know, and she always called Delma she boyfriend, but she's in the NMP because they're about during the election time.
Delma was one.
But you know, she was just
politics makes strange bets.
I think the girl was in love with Delma, but then he turned her down.
You're gonna put me in trouble with my brother.
folks, you can call me. Call me 6
I like, no, I listen, I think you have the right attitude to this. The question is, how do we get the decision makers to listen and to listen actively and to not view this is not an NDC problem. This is a Grenada problem. We do not like to be criticized. We do not like to be criticized. But as John would tell you, I don't criticize anyone if I don't have a possible solution. So I'm not just going to come and tell you, you're wrong, Mr. Norris, and I have nowhere else to go with that conversation. If I'm telling you, I think this idea could be upgraded, I know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't mean that my idea might be better. It doesn't even mean that it might work, but it gives us now an opportunity to dialogue, and there may be just one thing from my idea that could better your idea. And that's the kind of collaboration. And that's not our people. Our people is you either for or against us. And that's pretty, I can't handle that kind of that level of insularity. You know, it doesn't work for me. I love when people criticize me because it makes me better.
And that's why I said is about the mindset of an individual is important.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make you me, but if I can share something with you and you can, as you just said, 2 sentences of what I said might make sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 minutes of what you told me to improve me and improve what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like a farmer. He's plowing with a fork, and he has a plower park up there.
You know,
and I come to him and I say, hey, John, why are you using the fork to break your back and you have the plower? He will say, well, that's how my grandfather was doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's afraid. It's like the old mechanics, right? The young kids are coming out computerized.
Yeah,
Knowing mechanics through computers, and the old mechanics don't want to change because that's the way they
you
are.
You hear something clinky? That does it carburetor. You call it clunk, clunk, that thing does the steering in.
You know, I heard about a partner that went to Grenada with Benz, and none of the mechanic couldn't find the problem of his Benz, right? He called his mechanic in New York. He said, listen, come down with your computer and your hard control equipment. That's how I call it, right? Yeah. Bring them down. I pay the freight for you to bring them. I pay your airline ticket. He said the man come to Grenada. Within 10 minutes, his problem solved. And 6 months, he going to all the top mechanics in Grenada.
But why they couldn't?
The diagnostic machine they didn't have for that type of equipment.
For vehicle.
Diagnose what the problem was.
Oh.
And I know somebody else right now in Grenada with a Lexus and the same problem the Lexus is parked up.
Wow. It's funny.
He's not going to the best mechanics, man.
Yeah.
They got a lot of guys in Grenada who have this diagnosis
too. With time is running out on us here.
Yeah.
Delbert.
Send him go to Chantimel and ask for Dobson.
Dobson, okay.
Dobson. Okay.
Dobson will fix it for him in 5 minutes, man. The guy's a genius.
All right. So we over by a half an hour of our time here, and the town hall is this Sunday.
At 3 p.m.
Can people around Canada call in virtually and
we will engage? We should. It's the conclate office who set it up.
She did up. Okay,
yeah,
so we probably need to talk to Don.
Talk to Don about that. Because they're the one totally in control of the town hall meeting.
Yeah, you should add that feature. That helps a lot.
Yeah. Well, I will insist that we have something like that.
Yeah, virtual. People come
so
virtual.
People can virtually
participate. Yes.
Because
that's the one good thing that came out of COVID, right? So we all were forced to learn how to do virtual hookups, you know. So it's pretty easy to set it up.
He come up on his own, or he paid to come and do it?
He was sponsored.
Who sponsored that? Anybody sponsored?
Yeah, he was sponsored. So, but listen, I hope you and I can have some more conversation.
Anytime, man. Anytime, my brother. Like I tell you, we want the absolute same thing, and probably equally committed to getting into it. I'm just, you know, I'm at a stage in life where I'm in my what I call my no bullshit zone. So, if and when people tell me transformation, I asked them, well, tell me what it means, and nobody really can't explain it, and that's a problem, you know, because transformation can't be just fixing, cleaning a drain, or that's not transformation. That's the basic what government has to do.
I think there's bigger ideas than just clean.
Yeah, transformation means doing big things that brings about a paradigm and fundamental shift in the way we do business.
Comrade Baptiste, I want to set up a meeting with you, myself, and the Minister of Agriculture, where we can deeply go into cooperatives.
He probably not gonna take my phone call. If he hear my name, he's gonna duck.
I will set it up, and we'll have a Zoom conversation with him. We're talking, as you say, we're talking development for the Tri-Island state. And we can share experience with him in terms of putting co-ops together. Canada is built on cooperatives.
Yeah. No, a cooperative economy is a great one. It's one way, you know, larger and larger cross sections of your population benefit, and more people get trained from it against just, you know, whether you're looking for an economy that's nakedly controlled by the state or controlled by the private sector, you know. So for me, the cooperatives is a sort of happy medium. It's a hybrid that I think works brilliantly for us in Grenada. And I just don't know how much whether we fully understand it, and more should be done to encourage people to do it. And they all kind of, listen, there are a lot of things that we have to do. You know, Kid Mitchell left Grenada in a disaster, okay? And so I know the task ahead for the current administration is daunting. So the only way to accomplish that is for us to unite as a people. So of all the good things that has happened within the past year, I really want to see the Prime Minister speak out more forcefully on us uniting as a people.
Well said, Comrade.
Delbert and Mr. Nuss, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to this event. Again, this is Gem FM, folks. I'm your host, the Sheriff. You're to John Kelly's. This is where I get to kick the chair to the rear and get to hear Kagala. With my thing. All right. So Delbert, I have a concert tonight to go to. So
okay.
We will not be on tonight. Only if you promise to come and take over for me and do virtual thing and host the show tonight. I did it last night.
We can chat about that later.
Cool, no problem. So
all right, cool, my brother. Nice meeting you, Nuss. Let's keep the conversation going, my brother.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Impromptu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right, great.
Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Piti Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
We are Grenadians, are you? Let us fight with everything that Grenadians may promise you.
Grenadians and Friends of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
Everybody, to the King, wave and sing, jumping in our passport, nothing here. This music so sweet, there's just nothing to compare. Hey, if you see that angels carried in the street, and then to my surprise, it's cool and happy. I was an African to the descendants, Caucasian and Chinese, and then the master of the ceremony shouted something to me. It's an all-inclusive healing celebration.
Yes, Friday, April the 14th. Join us for Gospel Lounge at 1300 Finch Avenue, Western Toronto. Join us at 7 p.m. Grand Launch on Friday, April the 14th at 7 p.m. and every Friday thereafter. Come out and have a good time. There'll be food, music, and fun. Gospel Lounge in Toronto. It's an all-inclusive. All is welcome.
Grenadians and Friends of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
I had different bills to pay, and it was just like one after you had more days, more bills than money. So I called my mortgage company. I said, look, can you help me put all the things in one? They go through a whole list of things and say, okay, you're not qualified. I was listening to legal revision. I heard call Andre. So I called Andre. I needed help. So I showed him everything. I said, okay, I could help you. With what Andre have done, it allows me the freedom to start thinking more clearly, not worrying about I have to pay this bill tomorrow morning, the day after.
The bank is limited to what they can do when it comes to private lending. They are totally out of the ballpark. Knowledge is power. We help our clients look at the big picture to provide solutions to help their long-term goals.
Thank you, Andre, for all that you have done for me and allow me the freedom to spend more time with my family.
The bank says no way, you better call Andre.
We are Grenadians, who are you? Land of spice, where everything lies. Grenadians, may God bless you.
Grenadians and Friends of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
Everybody, to the King, wave and sing, jumping in our pants, Lord, nothing here. This music so sweet, there's just nothing to compare. Hey, if you see that they just buried in the street, and then to my surprise, it's cool and happy. I was an African tradition, Caucasian and Chinese, and then the master of the ceremony shouted something to me. It's all inclusive, daily celebration.
Yes, Friday, April the 14th. Join us for Gospel Lounge at 1300 Finch Avenue, Western Toronto. Join us at 7 p.m. Grand launch on Friday, April the 14th at 7 p.m. and every Friday thereafter. Come out and have a good time. There'll be food, music, and fun. Gospel Lounge in Toronto. It's an all-inclusive. All is welcome.
Grenadians and Friends of Grenada, the National Democratic Congress Support Group Canada cordially invites you to a gala event with the Prime Minister of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, the Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord, Ontario, with cocktails from 6 p.m. and dinner at 7:30, featuring live entertainment, delegation speakers, and more. Ticket donation is $250. Proceeds go to the establishment of a party resource center in Grenada. Tickets are limited. The Honorable Deacon Mitchell, Saturday, July 1st at Bellevue Manor, 8083 Jane Street in Concord. For tickets and information, please call 647-859-4142 or 647-242-9256.
I had different bills to pay, and it was just like one thing, more days, more bills than money. So I called my mortgage company. I said, look, can you help me put all the things in one?
To what they can do when it comes to private lending. They are totally out of the ballpark. Knowledge is power. We help our clients look at the big picture to provide solutions to help their long-term goals.
Thank you, Andre, for all that you have done for me and allowed me the freedom to spend more time with my family.
The bank says no way, you better call Andre.
We are Grenadians, who are you?
Yes, again, welcome to you and yours. This is Gem FM. I'm your host, the Sheriff. That's where we come to the end of this show today. And I wish and I hope that you did enjoy this show this morning. Can you leave in some music? But before I go, I want to tell you about some good new friends I've made out of Toronto, Hyundai, up on Dufferin Street here in Toronto. And Zahib, Maria, and the rest of the crew out there at the Hyundai dealership. Good afternoon to you. I hope you are enjoying the weather. I know you're inside, but it's still nice and cozy. So again, Have a wonderful afternoon. Blessings from Gem FM. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Don't break. Don't break. Don't give up. Yeah? Stay true to yourself. Bob Mullen Willers, stir it up right here on Gem FM.